moments of fear.
Every time there was a break, we ran and we ran.
And moments of shock over a new American tragedy. An armed madman firing down on thousands of innocent concertgoers. Dozens of lives ended. Our collective sense of security shattered. Tonight, moments of silence.
For the victims of the attack in Las Vegas.
And of tribute to those lost and to the survivors who will never be the same. Topping our news tonight at 11, stories of survival and heroism continuing to emerge as we learn more about who we lost in last night's massacre.
Yeah, it really is a surreal thing to say, but we're thankful to report the death toll of 59 has not risen since our last newscast. Sarah Dolph is in Las Vegas tonight with the latest on the investigation and the aftermath of this tragedy.
And we're saddened and we're sorry.
A somber vigil a day after bullets rained down on the Las Vegas Strip.
Evil showed its face last night, but love is showing its face this morning.
At least 59 killed and more than 500 wounded when 64-year-old Stephen Paddock used a hammer to break 2 windows in his suite at the Mandalay Bay Hotel and began firing on a crowd of country music concert goers below. Reloading again and again before turning the gun on himself as SWAT teams closed in.
Breach, breach, breach.
Paddock is described as a wealthy retiree who would travel to Vegas to play high-stakes poker, gambling more than $10,000 a day several times in recent weeks, according to law enforcement. His brother offered few clues to a possible motive.
It's just like an asteroid fell out of the sky. There was nothing that would say he would do this kind of thing.
Among those killed, a Tennessee man who was helping his wife to safety when he was shot, and a university student who coached his little brother's flag football team. Survivors haunted by those they couldn't help.
I would feel their pulse or grab their arm, and there was nothing. So we would just cover them up with. A lot of them were wearing cowboy hats, and we would just cover them up and keep going to the next one.
People enjoying a night of music and dancing plunged into a nightmare without warning.
Nevada's governor declared a state of emergency in the county, as well as a public health and medical disaster, which allows doctors and nurses from out of state to come help treat patients. In Las Vegas, Sarah Dolph, NBC News.
Hey, Sarah, and Metro Detroiters at the concert when the gunfire began are just getting home tonight after a gut-wrenching, exhausting 24 hours.
Our Mara McDonald live at Detroit Metro Airport tonight. Mara, one couple apparently just 20 feet away from the stage when the shots started.
Absolutely, and they had no idea, Devin, what was really happening until it finally dawned on them. Oh my God, these are bullets. You know, somebody is firing at us. And Dan and Lori said, the first thing that went through my head is, I've got to survive this thing because I have got to get home for my children.
I've been a very emotional last, I guess, 18 to 20 hours.
Dan Locke and Lori Stefanowski are finally home tonight.
Like I just feel sick.
The couple was right up front for Jason Aldean's performance.
Firecrackers.
Yep, sound like firecrackers. Pop, 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 but then it just constant. Just kept going and going and going. And at that point, once we saw Jason Aldean get removed from the stage, security came, took him back. People were starting to yell, get down, get down. You know, we kept hearing gunfire almost the whole time. So we couldn't tell if it was elevated. We couldn't tell if they were in the concert venue.
They stayed on the ground. There were no exits anywhere near them, so they crawled toward a chain link fence.
People before us and people with us had actually pushed the fence down. We were able to then escape.
And every time they started shooting again, people were just ducking behind cars and just crouching in between cars and just hiding.
Everyone was very, very helpful, very cooperative. We were talking about it on the plane. We didn't see one instance where we were of anybody sort of climbing over anybody else.
When we got back to the room, I just bawled. I mean, I sobbed, and you know, it's just surreal. I mean, we have 9 kids between us. I have 5, he has 4, and that's instantly what you think about.
Back Here Alive, you know, they made it out of the perimeter of that concert, but they couldn't go back to their hotel because it was on lockdown. So where do you go? They made their way over to the MGM. They said that the hotel couldn't have treated them better and that some random Good Samaritans, you know, saw that they were fleeing from the concert and said, hey, go upstairs, you can take our room, you know, go up and try and pull it together and relax. They were amazed at how kind people were to them under some really horrific circumstances. Devin, Kimberly, back to you.
We always seem to see that in the worst of times.
Good come out of people. Yeah.
All right, Mara. Now, a sad reminder, though, the other side of that, we have to make this kind of warning every time there's a tragedy of this, because scammers will try to fool you into making a donation.
Jason Colthorpe is live tonight with what to look out for. Jason?
And Kimberly, this really should be easy at this point to find the right website, but a lot of times they can look very similar. In the newsroom tonight, when we were trying to nail down the right one for this story, it took us a few minutes to decipher which one was actually for the victims of the Las Vegas shooting. And of course, one local woman who was trying to make a donation, a good chunk of money, was fooled by the wrong one.
Donations for the victims of the Las Vegas shooting are pouring in, millions of dollars from people all over the country who've watched the horror on TV and desperately want to help. Emily McAmin of South Lyon is one of the many moved to donate, especially after seeing that 2 people from her hometown of Manhattan Beach, California, had been killed.
You know people need help, you know they need the money and they know they need funding. Can't donate blood from here, so we went to the next best thing.
But her $50 donation did not go to the victims.
I was excited and just pushed the buttons, you know, just a little bit too fast.
It went to a scammer who set up a fake account.
You could see it wasn't set up by them, and there was only $10 other donated, and that triggered me that I had the wrong site. I was devastated. I was like, oh.
The Better Business Bureau tells me tonight, use caution with crowdfunding. That's because sites like GoFundMe do very little to vet people who set up accounts, even though they're policed afterward. Another good rule of thumb is to check out the charity and make sure it's reputable. And also ask yourself, how will the donations be used? If a site doesn't specify, that's also a red flag.
And that people actually try to take advantage of something like this, a tragedy so bad, and then just try to profit off of that. It's disgusting.
Yeah, it really is. GoFundMe is doing its best. It's telling me tonight it's monitoring its website to make sure it shuts down those fraudulent sites. The good news here is Emily did hear back from GoFundMe tonight. She's going to get that money refunded and redonated to the right one. And if you'd like to help out with that, we've put a link to the legitimate site on our website. Click on Detroit.com. Just click on this story. And at last check, it was closing in on the $2.5 million goal it had with that. So that's some good news there. Back to you.
Just crazy that we have to put out a warning like that, though, every time. Yeah. All right, Jason. Savannah Guthrie will be live from Las Vegas tomorrow morning on a special edition of Today. She'll be joined by Lester Holt, Miguel Almaguer, and Joe Fryer, who will be sharing these stories of heroism as the victims try to recover in area hospitals. So much more to come on the story as you wake up tomorrow morning.
And stay with ClickOnDetroit.com for full coverage of the mass shooting in Las Vegas, including video updates from the authorities. We've also got stories from Metro Detroiters who were there and survived.
Now, back at home tonight, downtown Hamtramck at a bit of a standstill after a high-speed crash lands a young man in the hospital.
Tim Pamplin is there with the night cam.
Just arriving on the scene here, this is Joseph Compo and Kniff, downtown Hamtramck, an almighty wreck, high-speed wreck involving this silver car. You see the entire side of this vehicle has been ripped off. Now, Hamtramck police are telling me this vehicle was heading down Kniff Street here at about 100 miles an hour when the driver lost control, careened into this light pole, ripping the side of his vehicle off, taking out a tree, ending there. The single occupant, I'm being told the driver is in his mid-20s, was transported to the hospital in very, very serious condition. Hamtramck police expect to have this intersection here again, Kniff and Joseph Compo, closed down for the next few hours. That's the scene in Hamtramck right now with the night cam. Tim Pamplin, Local 4.
All right, Tim, now to a developing story tonight involving a giant of rock music. Fans all over the world still awaiting word on the status of Tom Petty. He was hospitalized last night after suffering full cardiac arrest at his home in Malibu. Some news outlets reported this afternoon that Petty had died, but there has been no official confirmation of that. Petty rose to fame with his band, the Heartbreakers, in the 70s, known for so many hits, songs like Free Fallin'. He was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2002. Just last week, Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers wrapped up their 40th anniversary tour with 3 sold-out shows in Los Angeles. Tom Petty is 66 years old.
A University of Michigan football player was arrested this weekend after an alleged assault. 19-year-old Nate Johnson, a redshirt cornerback, was arrested by campus police early Saturday morning, accused of attacking a girl he's dating. Johnson was charged with 1 count of misdemeanor domestic violence. The Michigan Athletics Department says Johnson has been suspended indefinitely from all team activities.
Facebook says 10 million people saw at least one of the political ads bought by accounts linked to the Russian government. According to the New York Times, this is one of the posts, a meme implying that if Donald Trump is elected, it'll be okay to say Merry Christmas again. The Facebook page is filled with anti-immigrant comments, believed that these Russian-linked accounts bought 3,000 ads on Facebook before and after the 2016 presidential election.
President Trump will be in Puerto Rico tomorrow to assess the damage from Hurricane Maria. Puerto Rico's governor announced that a quarter of the island should have power by next month. Right now, half of the residents have running water, and the number should climb to 60% by the end of the week. Puerto Rico's government is struggling to distribute water, food, and medicine to the neighborhoods. About 8,000 people still remain in shelters.
It's worse than anyone thought. How many more people are affected by the massive Equifax data breach?
We'll have that coming up, plus the health risk you may not realize you're taking if you've been skipping the most important meal of the day. Hi, Ben.
Kim, don't worry, there's going to be plenty of sunshine after breakfast. In fact, temperatures rising 20 degrees in 4 hours. Huge warm up tomorrow. We'll look at the numbers next.
All right, Ben, and this is no ordinary trip to the store. Why police want to find this shopper who filled his cart to the brim.
Surrounded by history, dedicated to flavor, the unique discovery made during renovations that named this new spot for Tasty Tuesday. Tomorrow at 6 a.m.
A man goes on a dollar store shopping spree, but he's not paying for anything. Watch as the thief smashes a window to the Dollar Tree on Woodward in Highland Park, climbs inside, fills a cart with items, and then makes his way out the front door. This happened last night, but it is the second time that this Dollar Tree has been broken into in the past week. Anyone with any information, if you saw even anything that you think might help police, call Highland Park PD.
The massive data breach at Equifax may be even larger than originally thought. According to a cybersecurity firm, the breach affected about 2.5 million more customers than originally stated. That brings the total amount of affected customers to more than 145 million people. The former CEO of Equifax is scheduled to appear on Capitol Hill this week to explain why he waited 20 days to inform the company's board of the breach. Meanwhile, Wells Fargo's newest CEO will appear tomorrow before Congress, answering questions about the bank's fake account scandal. Last year, it was revealed that employees opened millions of accounts under customers' names without permission in order to hit sales goals. The CEO is expected to tell the Senate Banking Committee the company remains deeply sorry and that they have changed for the better. Just a mess.
It has been on both fronts. Yes, yes. All right, Ben's back in. A really nice October night after a gorgeous day.
That's the one thing that's not a mess is the weather.
Got that worked out.
That's true. Very little complaints over the last couple days, and we continue to get warmer until tomorrow. Then that's pretty much it. But I'll tell you that even when we fall, the temperatures aren't going to be too bad on the backside. Here's where we ended up this afternoon, 74 in Metro. Notice that the cooler temperatures here on the east side and some of the warmer numbers inland, and that's going to be the pattern again tomorrow. We're just going to tack on about 2 or 3 degrees onto everybody's temperature as we head into the afternoon. Current numbers are on the comfortably cool side with that low humidity out there, upper 50s to low 60s. And we're headed into the 40s in some spots. In fact, Port Huron already is at 50 degrees. But we'll see about a half and half between upper 40s and low 50s by the time we get into tomorrow morning. The other story we're watching is the rain. We need it. We only picked up about a third of what we normally get for September. And of course, we were woefully under average even before that. This is the shower and thunderstorm line that's along a cold front. That's going to get here Wednesday. So we do get dry conditions tomorrow. Enjoy those warmer temperatures. Enjoy those near 80 degree temperatures, low 80s in some spots. And we'll look at that in your 4-zone forecast in a minute. But once we get into Wednesday, new model data suggesting that the rain is going to be just a little bit later, probably not picking up the first round until 7, 8 o'clock in our west zone, and then that starts spreading across the area. Earlier, we were looking at a little bit of a break between rounds 1 and 2, and the new data suggests that's probably not going to be the case. We're just going to see scattered showers and yes, even some thunderstorms as we get through the afternoon. This is the actual front. You see everything starting to align here as we get towards 5 o'clock on Wednesday. Right now, we're not anticipating any severe weather, but you can see the colors. There are going to be some downpours out there when these showers and thunderstorms go through. So all in all, most of us probably about 1/10, 2/10, maybe 1/4 of an inch of rain, but there's going to be some spots. The model continues to suggest these blue areas are 1 inch plus, and notice they're not huge areas, but they may show up in a couple spots once we get into Wednesday. So overnight tonight, we're looking at 52 for an overnight low. Skies mostly clear, and again, there will be some 40s outside of the city. Tomorrow, though, Metro Zone usually one of our warmer locations, and that's not going to be the case. Those east side lakes keeping everybody a little bit warm with more of a south and southeast flow tomorrow. 77 in Dearborn, 76 in Detroit. Probably around 78 at the airport, but we will be seeing the 80s in our south zone further inland. 81 in Adrian, Blissfield also at that number, and Dundee checking in at 80 tomorrow. All 80s in our west zone, low 80s at that, and even though we'll see mostly 70s here north of M59, there will be a couple spots. Ortonville and Waterford check in with 80 degrees in the afternoon. So as we mentioned, even though those numbers are going to fall, they're still going to be above average all the way through the start of next week. Even those morning lows not too terribly chilly for this part in October, and we do have more chances of rain. So if you don't get as much as you like, and I don't think anybody will on Wednesday, Friday, and unfortunately Saturday, for the big football game. Looks like could be seeing some rain there.
Well, what a stretch to start October. Really
not too bad. We need to keep it going. We'll see.
Yeah, but we'll all meet at the cider mill for a couple of those kind of days. That's really great. Yep.
All right, then. Well, they say it's the most important meal of the day, and for good reason.
What doctors discovered that may have you never skipping breakfast again.
And remembering one of their own, a deputy with the Oakland County Sheriff's Office killed while on vacation.
Pet owners are becoming crime fighters, keeping their neighborhoods safe.
They know their neighbors. They know the coming and goings of vehicles and what's normal in their neighborhood.
It's a crime fighting tactic you and your pet can be a part of tomorrow at 11.
A deputy from the Oakland County Sheriff's Office was killed in a hit and run while on vacation in Florida. Jennifer Geringer, a forensic lab specialist, died after getting run over by a car in Orlando. The driver has since been caught.
The Marine from Michigan, who was held in Iran for more than 4 years, has won a $63 million judgment. This is video of Amir Hekmati returning to Flint after his release last year. Today, a federal judge ruled that Iran pay Hekmati for false imprisonment and torture.
General Motors is accelerating its plans to develop all-electric vehicles. GM says they plan to introduce 20 all-electric vehicles between now and 2023, and they say they're very confident about creating vehicles based on their all-electric Chevy Bolt. Stock market loved it. GM stock was up over 4% today.
All right, in good health tonight, a new study shows breakfast really is the most important meal of the day. A study out of Tufts University suggests skipping your morning meal hardens your arteries and therefore increases your risk of heart disease. Data shows that adults who skipped breakfast were more likely to be obese and have an unhealthy lifestyle.
So what do you suppose gives you hardened arteries more, skipping breakfast or having sausage and
bacon
eggs and bacon for
every
the
day.
breakfast?
There you go.
Yeah.
That's a good point. I don't know. A woman orders a yoga mat online but gets $400,000 worth of illegal drugs instead.
Woman from South Carolina walked out to meet her mailman thinking that yoga mat had finally arrived. Instead, she was given a heavy box filled with 20,000 oxycodone pills. Police believe the package was meant for her old address, a vacant apartment, but the post office forwarded it to her. Investigators are still trying to figure out where the drugs were supposed to be headed.